And we begin the Great Northern Sexcast, episode 36, with a couple of sighs in the room. I mean, I'm worn out, and we're not even 30 seconds into this show.
Well, we've already decided that the fan is winning, so inanimate object won. Mm-hmm. That both you and I have resting bitch face.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we're already going there this morning.
And you can't just throw that up. If you don't know what the term resting bitch face is, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. Colleen?
Well, okay, there was an article in yesterday's Star Tribune, whatever, today's the 18th, so that would be the 17th of September, right? And it's about just this neutral look that a lot of people have, and it pretty much is not a male equivalent. So we're just talking about women here, in which everyone's telling them to smile, or do you look angry, or just, and they're calling it resting bitch face, which is incredibly offensive. But, I mean, a person doesn't have to be smiley all the damn time. My natural expression is pretty neutral.
Yeah.
And so people are usually wondering, are you okay? I'm like, I'm perfectly fine. No, I'm not. Fuck off.
Right.
Because you
pissed me off
You pissed
now.
me off now. Yeah. But I've been getting this I get this a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's what my face does, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm also, not wrinkly, so I don't care.
Yeah, well, it's funny about that because I mean,
to just to dig right back in there into appearance and set it back. But yeah,
you have such a good way of communicating things. Like you said, your normal expression is neutral. Mine is might look a little bit scowly because it's how my mouth is shaped. Because I do have this gigantic mouth, I really do, and it's a lot to hold up. So if I'm not actively smiling, it just sort of lays down. And I cannot tell you how much it incenses me for a perfect stranger to come up and go, smile.
Yeah, I mean, no one tells a guy to smile. And it's, a lot of part of street harassment and all that sort of things. It is frustrating. I mean, there are a few guys that they level it to, mostly in the land of movies and celebritydom, like that.
Yeah.
But, I'm very sure that no one has ever been, on the 16, guys been on the, 16 bus going down to the U, like used to happen, and someone would tell some guy to smile.
Right.
Just look and say.
Right. Well, and it's like, how do you know, what's going on with me? I could have just found out that my father died, and you, random stranger, walks up and says, smile. It's like, why don't you hold still so I can kick you in the nards? Okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't ask the ladies.
Well, Michael, you haven't been in studio with us for so long. It's so good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Well, he's got all his teeth fixed.
Yeah, there's been issues and issues here or there.
We're just waiting at the office because we've had so many crowns, broken tooth lately. I'm like, am I next? Is the dental gremlin getting me?
Juju in the office?
Mm-hmm.
It usually happens right before my vacation. Last year I had a broken tooth again, so I think that might be the same too. So it's juju on my vacation, so it's like usually a month to 2 weeks before vacation, something's going to happen. So yeah. I know it's coming up.
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend has veneers. Actually, so do I. I'll own that too. But he has had the worst experience. And one time he broke one of his popped off biting an ice cream sandwich. Oh. And I'm talking one that had been out of the freezer for a minute or two. So it wasn't like it was a brick.
No, I lost a crown eating puffcorn.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, why is the puffcorn crunchy?
No. It's like, oh wait.
And I'm like, oh. And it was, perfectly good condition, and, went and glued it back on, practically went through the roof. I'm like, I don't think I'll be gluing these on without Novocaine anymore. Holy crap.
Did it hurt?
Oh, it hurt like a son of a bitch.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because it's not a root canal or anything, it's just a crown. So,
okay.
I'm like, that was unpleasant.
Well, I need to cheer myself up with some of the news stories because we got some doozies today.
Naked people in Florida, please.
Naked in Australia.
Oh, okay.
This time, okay. So imagine you're laying in bed and you can feel the heat of someone. But you look over and your significant other that you did, in fact, intentionally get in that bed with is there, and the heat's coming from the other side. And then you roll over, and there's a dude with no clothes on. This happened to this poor woman. With no clothes on, just sawing logs.
So, random naked dude walks into another house and just crawls into bed, does not notice. There are two people that he does not know.
Yeah.
And neither of those people wake up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she wakes up finally, and the boyfriend managed to persuade the intruder to leave while she went and immediately called police. But he came back. He tried getting. They think he got in through the window that they leave open for the cat. Mm-hmm. So he was already trying to get back in from another window, right? Because it was like, no, I liked it in there. I was perfectly comfy. Come on, man.
Are we assuming intoxication of some sort?
Or some sort of drug.
The last line of the story says this. Responding authorities took the unidentified suspect to Prince of Wales Hospital for treatment of drug-related health issues.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Mm-hmm.
That explains a lot.
Okay. So, but I don't know. If you get to the point where you don't know who's better, it might be time for a come to Jesus.
There is.
Or come to rehab.
I really like having my bedroom on the second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
This is
people
a good
calling
thing.
in your window.
If someone comes in that window, the house is probably on fire, and it's probably a firefighter.
Yeah. Which is
bad.
fine.
Yeah.
But see, that is the difference. I'm sorry, but that's a benefit to being a dog person over a cat person. I'm going to know about it before it makes it to the bed. Mm-hmm. And, one of my dogs would alert us. The other one would be like just pushing like, no, that's my spot. But there is one that would give a crap and make some noise. Yeah.
Right. Where my cats would just like, curl up on their lap and go to sleep,
Right?
It's like, they don't care.
Oh,
Attention.
So, Colleen, you're a parent, and Michael, you and I aren't at this point in time, but we've all been kids, right?
Yes.
I'm still a big kid.
Okay.
Yeah. There's age, and then there's maturity level, and I was looking through some stuff the other day, and I came up with a word that started with BUTT, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what this is, but it has the word butt in it, and it made me giggle for days.
See?
Yeah.
It never. And how old do you feel? Well, I don't know what kind of childhood mischief either of you engaged in, but mine never included vandalism. I think that's kind of crappy and being destructive or whatever.
I was a total angel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Evansville, Indiana, 84-year-old man, he is now facing battery charges. He got into an altercation with a kid over some smashed bricks on his property, and the kid got saucy back with him, so he dumped a container of piss on him.
Oh, man.
What is unclear at this point, and we do have the booking photo, not a happy dude.
Oh, no.
And he looks crusty and pissed, right?
It is, yeah, it is, he's definitely a grumpy old man, curmudgeon. He's probably yelling, "You kids, get out of my beans."
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and his quote was, the reason he threw the urine is that's what he keeps for self-defense.
Urine.
So pissed off, get pissed on.
I don't, I have to admit, I think I side with the grumpy old dude here. I really do.
I don't like when, he said, well, the little guy, I'm sure that it, ratcheted up the level of the altercation, but plus the anxiety, calling him names and all that kind of stuff. I mean, whatever happened, I'm sorry, I'm going to go old school on everybody, but respect your elders. Come on, guys.
No, I mean, this guy could be a total asshole. I knew to that. But if he's honestly come up with the fact that he was keeping urine as a weapon, he just didn't. I mean, it had to be a reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean, this can't be the first time something happened. Yeah. Personally, I'd put it in a super soaker or something.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, see, now look who's creative.
But
right.
yeah, but I bet you anything that the maturity level of both of them probably lowered in the confrontation.
Yeah, isn't it sad? I mean, we've all done this where you've been in a situation where you were so far beneath what you normally would think is reasonable because you're so damn mad you can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ever do that? I mean, it's too bad. But
You're just like, and sometimes like I'm floating above myself going, am I actually being that stupid? But you can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to, and at one point you're just like, ah.
I know.
I think I'm an idiot right now, but you can't stop.
For sure.
He may not have known, though, that he was an idiot, though, judging by that picture. There doesn't seem to be any sort of remorse.
No. He looks pretty intently fine with what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
$750 fine and battery charges are pending there. Mm-hmm. A couple of Minnesota stories. I don't know if you guys have caught these. These have circled in the last week, but I thought they were funny because they're local and all this kind of stuff. Have you guys seen Jeff, I believe you pronounce it Dabe. He's Minnesota's Popeye. Have you seen him?
No, I missed this one.
Okay, he actually doesn't look facially at all like Popeye, but this guy was born with like really strangely, freakishly huge arms and hands. Like they've even put up baby pictures so that you can see. And they did have him checked out at the U of M for elephantitis and I can't think of how you pronounce it, but that other disease that's like, protracted hugeness. And he competes in the World Arm Wrestling League.
Hey, there's lemons out of, lemonade out of lemons there.
Yeah, and he's winning, he's touring, and all of a sudden, his forearms are 19 inches in circumference.
I believe I've seen a picture of that. It was just like, it reminded me of Popeye completely.
Yeah, well, and he's got like a lot of really kind of fun dark hair. He doesn't look his age. He doesn't look 52 to me. Oh. But his wife said, we get all these, this weird attention, and it didn't always used to be positive, but now that he's back wrestling, people are starting to recognize him for that, and so he feels less like a freak, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's tough because it's, I would guess that even with long sleeves, how do you
hide that?
Sleeves? Yeah, how do you find sleeves? Even if you have custom stuff made. I mean, and generally, people are idiots and they will point and stare and stuff like that. But if you can, deal with it, it's cool. And he's, kicking ass from Minnesota. That's good.
I love it. Well, we have another Minnesota story. Right. Not so much, and I'm hoping that this isn't someone who actually lives here because the incident did involve a hotel. So, of all things in nice little pleasant Rochester, 22-year-old woman pulled up to the Apache Mall. Everybody knows where that is, right? In Rochester.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of like the mall, right?
Right.
It drove up in a limo, went in, stole $300 approximately worth of goods, and took off. And they found her via the limo driver who said, I know who that is. I picked her up at the Kaler Grand Hotel.
What? A limo. Well, did you think that, no one would think that if I have a limo that I would be stealing?
Or notice?
I think people are going to notice more.
Let's be honest. I mean, you just don't see them that much. I mean, they're more prolific than they used to be maybe when we were kids and stuff. But still, you kind of turn your head a little bit and go, what's going on? Who's a
celebrity? Yeah.
Or what's going on?
I don't want to
miss
something.
I don't know.
Tara had the best limo when she was on her last trip. Did we talk about that?
No.
That when they brought her from the hotel to the warehouse to take a look, it was a big Hummer limo.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, I think maybe in California they would have made it a Prius or something, but I could just see a Prius limo.
That would be, you guys.
I'm surprised someone hasn't done that yet.
We have to have that. We have got to find somebody to get a Prius limo. That's hysterically funny. But there's got to be some really wicked twist to it, such as, you can only get, anybody 5'4" and under in it or something, crap like that. So the last one, have you guys heard about this yet? This one was new.
Oh.
Do you know what the vajankle is?
Well, it sounds like something piercing related.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is for foot fetishists.
Okay.
And for $179, you get the left foot, which looks like kind of a nicely manicured female foot with a point of entry at the ankle.
What?
Yeah, the vajankle.
No,
get
it
it
has
now?
nothing to do with piercing. Oh, my God.
And then for $299, you get both feet. And the author that was so completely freaked out about knowing that this even exists was saying, why is the right foot being prejudiced against that the package A is only the left foot? Why don't you get the choice of being the right or the left foot? But I mean, of all the many, many things wrong with this whole thing, he zeroes in on that.
And which foot it is. Wow.
You haven't seen those?
No, I think oh God, did I run across? I don't know. Some of it's like hitting some of the deep recesses of my brain here, but it's just one of those weird things where you're like, is this an actual fetish, or is this more like the folks that like to drink the nail polish and eat toilet paper? I'm very much a go along to get along, whatever turns your crank. But sometimes I'm wondering, how is that? I mean, it's so out there. I don't understand how that would work.
Yeah. I mean, I could almost see, based on, once again, I refer back to Sex and the City and the infamous Charlotte shoe shopping with the foot fetish guy episode where he gave her free, very expensive shoes to let him touch her feet. And then the other girls shamed her into taking them all back, which totally still cracks me up to this day. But
I just wouldn't go. I think I remember that.
Remember that one?
No, keep the damn shoes. She paid for them.
That's what I said. I'm like, hell no, I earned those. But but I could almost see feet. Like, I mean, if somebody was single and they really liked this.
I know, but this is, if you're pronouncing it right, this is screwing the ankle.
Mm-hmm. That's just,
it is.
Yeah, I
can't be good on your limbs and bones. I don't know how understanding how the vajankles is actually working. I'm not piecing this
It's
together.
a foot.
Yeah, it's a rubber
Yeah.
foot. It's a
And
rubber
the
foot with a
Oh,
hole.
okay, I
and it
gotcha.
goes
I gotcha.
from-
No.
I just can't.
It looks
In
like
our
a
line
s-
of business, I've seen many things, and
which I know. And Michael, you don't get verklempt often,
no.
but yeah, no. I mean, it looks like a severed foot.
Yeah. it's-
Yeah, it's the worst ever. I mean, would that fall into the category that you guys would not even do on your hosted
You know
site?
what? I do have some things over there, and I do. I mean, I know. Probably not. Because it looks too.
Freaky.
There's some things that are interesting. I mean, like when I was choosing a whole bunch of sort of cock and ball toys, there were some things that involved crushing, and I just went, I don't think that I want to promote, and it's fine for other shows like that. But if I have crushing items on my site, and certain things that I'm curating, to use a word, do I want to freak out a larger number of people to get the few people that are there when there's plenty of sites that you go to and you're going to find much more extreme items, and so I'm like, what, that I can let the other company have, because it's going to freak out more people than it's going to turn on. Okay. And so I got to take a look at that, and I think that would sort of like the weird ass egg thing that we saw, and I think I don't know if we sent it to you, alien thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that. It's like some people, and mind you, it can't be many, because if Dan Savage thinks it's weird, then obviously it's very small. But if you have a thing about having Jell-O eggs inserted in you, my first thought is yeast infection, and so I don't know how it's sexy. And so,
right.
even though this exists and it's out there in the world, it's not something that makes sense for us.
Sure.
No, we do have things that are in line for the foot fetish. We have a masturbator where it looks like 2 feet together, where you can masturbate with that and everything.
Oh, okay.
But nothing that's, it's like, if it's a foot, I don't know if
Yeah, I mean, we
we
never.
Disembodied feet are just
Yeah.
disconcerting.
Yeah, this
It
is sort of
is.
like the one company came up with a weird line, and the majority of folks just went, I don't think so. Because and I don't think they ever actually manufactured it. And this was, you're talking about the we talked about before, the stump or the prolapse uterus and stuff like that. And you're just like, yeah, there might be folks, but when it comes down to business, there's not enough.
It just might be in bad taste.
Let's put it this way: it's not going to hurt the general public if somebody else wants to use this masturbator. But is it going to gross them out and they're going to leave my site? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they going to be at the store and go, are you out of your mind? And just, I can't have, certain things just are going to gross people out.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting how you've spent a lot of time and pretty nice thought, it sounds like, too, into trying to figure out where the lines are, because it's not a judgment thing at all. It's there's a complete system of checks and balances that I would imagine it's taken you guys years to sort of formulate, to figure out where you wanted to be as an entity, right?
Yeah.
And then who you guys felt okay representing and selling as a company, right?
Yeah, because and sometimes things aren't the most, respectful. Depending on what if you're talking about a tranny movie, which that word can be disrespectful to some folks, other folks don't care in that world. But things don't catch up. But I'm try and do our best. I'm really it's just you're looking at movies and you're like, okay, do I want to keep the movie with the word teen in it? So like I said, some of the movies are haven't joined 2015 yet, but a lot of the toys have, and they've taken out a lot of the out of a language or the packaging. Just like, no, I don't think so.
Speaking of trans, have either of you caught any portion of any episode of I Am Kate yet?
No, I got rid of cable, so I don't
Okay.
see through that. I understand that it's.
No.
I understand that it's been when folks are talking about it, that it's done really well, because he in becoming she, focused outward and not inward. From what so Caitlin is focusing on the transgender community in general, because she realizes how privileged she is. Whereas, so it's not all about her. And so I think
about helping others.
that's why I think what's made the show interesting. And then she it's 8 episodes too.
Yeah.
So you're not invested. I get the feeling if the ratings stay well that there might be more.
Like a holiday special or
But
something.
yeah, but I think that's what makes it a good show.
Well, I saw about a half hour. I had it on in the background when I was doing something last week. And they were somewhere at a retreat, and there were several other trans women there. And they were discussing part of the section that I saw. Caitlin was talking about her voice and the fact that, what should I do about this and all that kind of stuff. And just the part I saw, they were all explaining that what makes you who you are and all of this that you've been through worth it is not the sound of your voice. And so there was all these different perspectives being shared and other people and different side conversations. Like Kate's best friend, who was Bruce's best friend, was like his, I guess I would, for lack of a better term, call her a personal assistant of sorts, but they were really good friends and they hung out. And she was talking to one of the other trans people there saying, yeah, I feel like I'm just like, we used to go to the movies every week and we used to do all this stuff, and now she's too busy for me, and this, that, and the other thing. And this person said, what a bride, this other trans person goes, you know what a bridezilla is? And she's like, well, yeah. And she goes, well, there's transzillas. And they go through the whole process because all of a sudden, it's all new and it's all this big deal. And it was so funny the way this whole explain. So the episode ended with Caitlin and this assistant having a talk and heading off for the movies. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the community thinks of it, and if it reaches beyond, to a point to where it helps with relations, if you will, perceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is going to be good because more vocabulary, more open air, more sunshine about things, lets people, challenge what they might have in their heads.
Yeah.
But the one thing, when she was talking about her voice, I mean, that's just an issue for all genders. There are women who will go because they want to lower their voices or they want to learn not to do upspeak. There are men who will try and figure, it's not just for stutterers.
Right.
Right. Voice lessons are huge in people's perceptions of themselves.
Yeah.
Going through there.
Well, my sister, for example, I'm a longtime radio person and I still do professional voiceover work frequently. My sister, on the other hand, cannot record a voicemail message without doing the baby voice. And she's 64 years old, for crying out loud. And she doesn't have, she's got a fine voice, not, neither excellent nor terrible at all, just kind of a very normal voice. But she goes into this goofy, because she's so self-conscious about being recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate. I heard my voice message once, and I'm like, who is that homosexual? To myself, I don't sound gay. I'm like, who was that?
But see, what's funny? You have a nice voice, though. You got a big, chompy, chunky voice.
That's only on the radio. I change it just for this.
No, that's one of the things I figured out when I was doing commercials. I was doing, I would do my own radio commercials, and then I decided to go on TV. Is that I knew that my voice was naturally lower because I, hear it and stuff like that, which to most folks is less annoying to people.
Oh yeah,
they don't like a higher female voice, and I'm not doing. It's just one of those things where people find women's voices supposedly more irritating. When they're doing vocal fry or they're doing upspeak or this and that. Yeah. And I realized that I just didn't do that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But I was, so now I felt comfortable doing, the radio stuff. And I got more comfortable. Every now and then I run across an old audio file and I go, hey, I do sound a little bit different. But it's my, my radio voice is different than my regular speaking voice.
Is it?
Or, yeah. Because when I when I do the commercials, because I'm trying to get it all in, because I can cram more into 30 seconds.
Seriously,
it's amazing. That's really good. Well, and then there's also the nifty editing tool that allows us to speed stuff up.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you can get rid of all of my ums and the breathing because I'm not a professional that way, and it just I do find it fascinating, and I do find I go that would be, like when I answer the phone at work. It's different because sometimes people go, "Is that you?"
Oh,
because I have phone voice,
okay,
which is different too, and it's much better. Hey, welcome to Fantasy Gifts. How can I help you? And they're like, "Colleen, is that you?" Yeah. That's me.
Well, she does have this very distinctive voice because, I'll be in the car driving around, and then when we did the radio commercials or any kind of TV ads, it's like all of a sudden I hear Colleen's voice. I'm like, where's the boss? It's like, it's
Yeah.
very distinctive. You can tell.
I used to advertise during the reruns of Sex in the City that would come on 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 at night. And folks would be at home having the TV on in their background, like, this is not what they want.
Oh, and then you'd come
yeah,
on.
but the commercial, they're like, that's not what they wanted to hear. Was my voice at 11 o'clock at night.
I did a hold recording for a client, and it was so funny. They butt dialed me from the office somehow, and so my voicemail was me reading the disclaimer for the I'm like, how am I calling me? And it was one of those moments of complete and total confusion. But yeah, I finally figured out what the hell was going on. So, Colleen, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out here. You've lived with this for 30 years, but we were supposed to have Miss Minnesota on today, and I guess the right and the left hand within the organization didn't completely understand what the show was, and because it had the word sex in it, they wouldn't let her come on. Which I have lots of thoughts about that, but I won't share them all.
I thought it was a very small chance that it was ever going to go through.
Okay.
Especially after I read her bio, and she seems like an amazing young lady. I really do wish her well. She works with kids, so there's the thing right there. Mm-hmm. She's a teacher, and it just, whenever, I'm sure that she deals with a lot of misconceptions about doing something like the Miss America contest or being Miss Minnesota, in 2015. Is it a scholarship pageant? Are you, glorifying the sexuality of people and stuff like that? But, but I'm like, it's 2015, it's the word sex. And I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to let her be on this show.
Yeah.
And, but it's really, there is something on there, and I won't link it. I'll just, if people are listening, that's fine. But if you go to her page, you just Google Miss Minnesota, because we don't, need to screw up her chances or do anything like that. You can, I think if you hashtag or you Twitter or do something, part of winning is a social media sort of contest.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah, I saw that online. So you can find it all on our site. Like I said, I won't mess with her chances. And she seems like a very nice young lady that we met downstairs. I think it's amazing that she's got a teaching degree. She's working up north. She does art, and she's just been an advocate for education, which I think is spectacular.
Yeah, that's gonna be her platform.
So
God, the contest is on the 13th of September, which I always remember because my sister's wedding anniversary is that day. But she leaves on the 29th, so she's gonna be gone for 2 solid weeks doing this. It's like the stuff that these people have to go through, these contestants, to just be involved in this stuff. It's like, I can't imagine how frustrating and expensive. Not to mention.
One of the things I wanted to ask her was just once you wear the gorgeous gown, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and they're not cheap, man.
No. I remember searching for wedding, for when my sister got married. You were out in Jersey, and they like sparkly things. And so we're looking for a Mother of the Bride dress for my mom that was not to Mother of the Bride, but they had a whole pageant section. And these things weighed a ton. They were mostly fully beaded, and you're like, how in the world do you walk in this?
Oh, yeah.
And I used to be able to wear heels. I had all this stuff, but I've worn really heavy Renaissance Festival costumes. But to wear something that heavily beaded, that's a sheath, I'm like, that's a skill right there.
Yeah.
I bet you have to have really good core muscles just for that.
Oh, yeah, especially in heels. Mm-hmm. Super serious heels. At least, thank God, platforms are in right now. Mm-hmm. So that's easier than the straight old 5-6 inch pumps that people used to wear and stuff. I'm allowed to say this because it's so many years in the past, but Gretchen Carlson, who now has her own show on Fox News Channel during the middle of the day, but she used to be on their morning show, their national morning show for a number of years. She's from Minnesota, and she was Miss America. And, I'm kind of neutral on her. She's whatever. But she came out with a book recently, and she was being interviewed about the contents of the book. And part of it that I caught was once she was crowned, the haters came out and how unprepared she was for that. And I was like, really? And yeah, and I guess it was really a very difficult aspect of being in that scene that once you're stepping over, who has time to be like that? If you don't like Miss America, don't watch it or don't whatever. Right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it is different. It's not 1952 anymore. Things have changed. Just going through there, and I'm sure there. And I'm used to misconceptions. People think, people think weirdly of this show. People think weirdly of my stores, and it's not, there's perception and reality.
Yeah.
And, and I'm sure that folks that are in a contest like that have to deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, these women are not idiots. Now, mind you, I don't know about, 50 years ago, if they had to conform to ideals and stuff like that. But obviously, there's still certain things that they're, not ready to have a contestant do, which is, talk, frankly about, if someone's platform is education, or someone's platform is equal rights, or if someone's platform is, clean water. It shouldn't really make any, difference. If you can get your message out, you should be able to get your message out.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think it would be really horrible because there's 50 people or 52 because they have Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands, okay, Guam or anything like
maybe
that.
Guam, yeah. So there's more than 50. Okay, because I think they include the territories. So 50 plus women, and one person's going to get this. All the years and everything that they've had to do to get there. Can you guys even imagine? I mean, and the chances are,
Right.
Yeah, and most of the women at this point have won multiple pageants. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a different world. I mean, one that I am certainly completely, unawares of. It would have been nice to talk about, but I understand that, especially with the way that some people think about it, it could just be construed the wrong way. I certainly wouldn't want to mess with anyone's chances or anything like that.
No, but I'm just wondering if the actual public gives a crap, or if it's just that, the machine that churns this whole thing out, it's
probably
they're
they're probably a little bit behind. Organizations move slow. Absolutely. They always have.
Oh, that's very true. Mm-hmm. So you guys said something that Megan, I have not, I admit it, in the last 2 days, Mondays and Tuesdays are my crazy days, been on our page. What has Megan been up to? Because some of the stuff I was hearing fly by was pretty damn funny.
Well, one of the things, and I know this came up last week, was the fact that Kevin Bacon was interviewed. And he just figured there needs to be more male nudity in films.
Well,
and
God bless him.
And
and
I'm like, well, that works. And so there was hashtag free the bacon and all this sort of stuff, because he has in fact he has performed nude and stuff like that. And
wow,
and it was just it's fascinating. And I mean, there is, and I know that certainly HBO and Showtime and stuff like that have certainly done their best for male nudity. I mean, Spartacus and Game of Thrones and all, there's been more boobs, but there's certainly been a lot of male buttocks.
I've seen a lot of butt.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of stuff lately,
and it's been funny. And so she linked that. She's linked a lovely article on adult film stars and the fact that they're not idiots. The fact that they're a lot of them have higher education degrees. They do this and that. It once again, perception versus reality.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them are very business savvy. We've met a few, and they're very business savvy. This is a job to them. It's their career.
Yeah.
And they take it serious.
And what's funny about that is people would say, oh, well, how could you do that? The first thought would be, I would be, if I had done the movies like that, wondering what people would come up to me and say. But you guys, wouldn't you admit that based on makeup and everything else, the chances really of being recognized, especially these days, if you have a baseball hat on, it's just not that big. I just don't think it's that big of a risk factor. Do you?
Yeah, I think if you're a star, you might. It's going through there because you're going through there because a lot of, there is makeup, but when we've met some of the women and some of the men who are going through there, they do sort of look like themselves, because after a couple of hours under the hot lights, there's not a lot of makeup left.
Okay.
A lot of rubbing off.
But but it's a really it's a really fun read. I got through about halfway of it, and it was like the 13 smartest porn stars of all time.
Perfect.
Going through there, and I just there's articles like that just sort of dissuade. Like I said, the perception versus reality is very different in a lot of places.
For sure.
And it's going through there, and we were discussing that came up this morning. What else? There was a meeting where we were talking about it segued into the story about there only being so many permits for adult films being pulled in California. We talked a little bit about
less than 50 this year so far.
And it just and then so I asked him about it. He's like, well, it's not like they're making. I mean, they are making fewer films in general, but they've just been pushed to Arizona, Colorado, Florida. Places where they don't have the condom rule. And then we had a whole discussion, well, wouldn't you want to have safety rules? And then we're like, well, everybody knows what they're getting into. I mean, a football player knows he's probably going to scramble his brains, you know. You know, you have to know the risk of the industry you're going into. And then I think we segued into... we know that car fobs battery is just fine. So, you know, it's a very eclectic conversation this morning, you know, going through there as we're trying to figure out, you know, what's going on, you know, in the world of sex toys this week.
What? Sex toys this week, ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
You know, you hear the news drum beat coming up. No, so, back up just to that for really quick. I mean, you know, I've wondered about that, the condom rule, the no condom rule, and, you know, HIV has, you know, thankfully... you know, really gone down, but there's parts of the segments of the population that we're seeing issues, and STDs, we talked about this for sure, in general are happening in older people because they were married usually during the 80s and the AIDS big flare-up. But, you know, they've gotten HIV so much under control, so to speak, that we're going back away from it. But I don't know, guys. I mean... how safe can they really be, you know?
No, I think that, speaking of large organizations move slowly. Yeah. I think that, I mean, in the 1980s, condoms were, funny and risque and brand new, and now they're pretty ordinary. And even though that adult films, just like other films, are fantasy, you know, I mean, you don't expect to be actual physics in a space movie, you know,
Halloween.
or stuff like that, or rom-com, that crap doesn't happen. So there's a suspension of disbelief, and so people saying that if you see a condom in a film, that your suspension of disbelief is gone.
Okay,
but
it's taken away the whole fantasy.
So I get that, but I do feel that like I said, change comes slowly to large organizations, and I do see that there'll just be more and more folks that have grown up with condom use and this, and it's just not going to be an issue. It's just moving slower. It's going through there because I'm just like, it just seems like basic safety would be there, but they do know what they're getting into when they get the job. A football player, especially nowadays, knows that there's a very good chance that they're going to have major brain issues when they're older. They're just certain things that folks know. So I guess like a choice to some extent there.
I suppose. I mean, Michael, what's the take, in the greater, I mean, to the extent that you can comment from the perspective of the gay community, have you seen a big shift with regard to attitudes towards condom and protection?
Well, most of our productions, like, there's a few that we have that are only like Shishi LaRue. She is strictly condom safe, safe. But I know a lot of our customers do like the fantasy, the bareback, the feeling of non-latex, or something, just, nothing between you two, But I think it's neutral. I think a lot of people don't even notice the condoms on them because they're not actually stopping the scene and putting a condom on you. Very rare do you see a movie. Usually it just goes to the next scene where they're just doing it and you don't even realize the condom's on.
Okay.
So they do it really tasteful and graceful. You're not even going to know.
Yeah, that's
so
the thing.
much editing.
That's the thing with the editing. Yeah. So there's another thing too. Yeah.
That's all editing and all that, and what you can make a perfectly fine film and still have the stars safe and everything, because we all want them to be around for many years for more movies,
Right,
so
right.
we definitely want them safe and everything. But I don't even think I don't think it matters to I know the guys like the bareback and everything, but
Okay.
I think it's neutral. I'm neutral on it. I think it's great that they're using condoms and everything.
I am too.
It's like, why are they risking themselves for my pleasure?
Yeah, it's like, what, you can go ahead and be a film star and just don't even worry about having to get that problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You worry about when you're actually in that scene. You're doing what your fantasy's telling you.
Right.
You worry about what you're doing with your partner. Let the porn stars do what they do professionally.
Sure. For sure. Hey, by the way, speaking of Facebook, Great Northern Sex Cast, just look us up on Facebook. We have gotten so many new people. onto Facebook, and we're getting a lot more people contributing and interacting with us, and we just wanted to say that that's fantastic. We love it.
No, I do like that because we get an idea of what is what are people interested in, what are they commenting on. When they're on, they're like, well, this is just really cool. People are listening. There's a little bit of an ego thing there. I'll admit it. It's sort of fun. And it's
me.
And then going through there, trying to figure out, that that the folks are coming to us to find interesting things versus running through or going through, and it's been nice. So I think we're heading in the right direction that way.
Well, I do too, and I mean I think one fun thing about the show is, I mean, sure, we can talk about anything new that you've gotten in, and I guess Michael, you've just been exhausted. You've been really looking for people lately.
Yeah.
We had Megan, and she was talking about doing a lot of interviewing. How's yours been going for the
It's
stores?
going pretty good. I'm pretty much stocked up, and it was kind of like I'm in a window of opportunity right now. I got to get my store stocked before I can actually go and enjoy my vacation. So I got less than a month to get everything rolling, get all the stores to where I actually feel comfortable to leaving it with somebody else. Because I take my stores seriously, my employees seriously. I want them trained properly. I want them to be able to give great advice to customers. So, and that all goes with the training, with the positions. So I have had a lot more open positions that I filled recently, but that's all right. It's more, we get to mold minds about new people.
Okay. Well, Megan was just saying she was so frustrated at one point because she had a bunch of people that just didn't show up for their interviews.
Yeah, I get the same thing. So now I don't even go to the interviews. I'm like, why? No, so I worked it out with my full timers. They'll do the initial meet and greet and talk to them. And if we want to go further, then I will actually meet with them and do an interview as well. But most of the time, it's like you go down there and you just plan your whole day, just bop out interviews, and they don't show up. So I've wasted a whole day where I had 4 other stores that I could have been getting stuff done.
Sure.
So I'm like, now it's like until people start taking it more seriously and actually doing their interviews, then I'll start showing up.
Okay, here's what I want to know from you, because I know what Megan said to this. What is that thing that you look for in a person that makes you go, yes, they are a good candidate?
I love the personality. I love the fact that, they get excited about what they do. I want people to be eager about talking about sex toys, talking about the things that we sell. Because, that's a lot of things. I'll talk to guys and I'm like, are you comfortable talking about vaginas? Are you talking about the stuff that we carry? And I get a few that just stand up and shake my hand and walk out. So those,
That's
the
fine.
weak will not survive. It's like we want the ones that are very energetic, ready to go getters.
Yeah, and like I said, and then you have to, once again we talked about walking that line between being comfortable talking about sex and then possibly stepping over a line and being able to gauge, the customer, because the same thing's going to happen if you're, if you're at Macy's and you're trying to sell someone china for a wedding. You have to know, do you talk about this? Do you not talk about this? How do you bring it up? Are you looking at someone that's budget conscious? So I know that I shouldn't go over here or stuff like that, because you don't want to spend the entire time talking about the $200 vibes when someone wants to spend $20.
Exactly.
So there, it's general sales skills.
Yeah.
Going through there, either you're good at it or you're not. You're
and
not.
none of my employees are commission based, so they're not going to automatically try to sell you the most expensive item. We're going to talk to you and find out what your price range is, what kind of vibrations you're looking for, what kind of extra bonuses, extra goodies these toys have. So, they're not making commission off this, so they're going to give you their honest to God's truth on, their opinion on it.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, I just think it's interesting because, I mean, the joke is out there for anybody that's in business. Good people are hard to find, right? And, my boyfriend's going to be going through some interviewing here pretty soon and whatever, and it's like, I'm just terrified, and I just can't even imagine, like, you guys must have sort of an extra layer of difficulty because, you're dealing with subject matter that not everybody can handle.
Right, yes.
You know?
And you got to put it right out there at the beginning of the interview. This is the store we are.
Yeah, and, just trying to find folks that understand money.
Mm-hmm. And counting back change.
Counting back change, because I don't care if the machine says that you get back $11.35. You need to mark down that it's 66 cents, 70 cents, we're at 30, and give and count it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like I said, I talked about it last week. It's frustrating when I see folks that cannot count back change.
Yeah.
We would like basic math skills, a great sense of humor, somebody that's, outgoing, somebody that can read people and say, oh, I shouldn't talk to this lady, she just wants to come in and look around. You got to be able to read the customer and gauge it from there,
Yeah, I mean, I periodically will go in and just help out Will Work for Wine at the liquor store, my boyfriend's store. And, it's kind of a riot because people are coming in there to get something fun, which is kind of parallel for you. Far less complex deciding between a Pinot Noir and a Shiraz. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I don't have to ask as many questions.
No. I would assume that, if someone's, but, if someone asks for, do you have any new gins? You need to know whether or not, do you like the more juniper ones, or do you like Hendrix? Oh, God, I love Hendrix. Okay. And
she's having a moment.
I'm having a moment. Well, it was so warm out this week, and I actually had, I'm like, oh, gin and tonic time. Something about that. But yeah, you have to, you got to read people, and it's a lot, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I do. I get a kick out of it kind of sometimes because I just love to joke with people and give them, kind of tease them a little bit and whatever, because it's like, what the hell else do we have to do but make people happy in retail? At the end of the day, they're coming for something that they think they want or need.
Yeah. And I get those customers where it's like I read them and, they just seem like fun people. So we can just go all boards. Like, okay, let's show you. Yep. This is the biggest dildo. This is the smallest, And their faces are just like, oh, my gosh. So it's a lot of fun. I've walked around the stores with a lot of people, a lot of ladies, and just had a blast and showed them a few things that they've never even knew existed. It's like, it's just a shock value of it all. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, but see, you're lively and funny, and I would follow you around the store for an hour, so I get that. So are you all stocked up, or are you always looking for people?
No, I'm always looking for people. I'm, because things happen where, most of ours it's a set schedule. So people are in college, so it's a great part-time college student, for a job for college students. So, but they do end up going forward into whatever they went to school for. So I do lose people,
Sure.
Like I said, the weak shall not survive. I have a lot of employees that have been with me for quite a long time, so they're very knowledgeable and everything. But we're always looking for good applicants.
Okay.
I'm always looking because something's going to happen,
Yeah. Well, no, and I mean, it's also worth saying, I think, here, how many people that work, particularly at headquarters, that have been there forever.
I know. Nobody wants to leave.
Yeah.
No, it works out well for me, let me tell you. I could do things like, spend a little time with my daughter before she, during the summer and know that things are not going to fall apart. Although with the, advent of lovely, iPhones and emails and stuff like that, I'm still working.
Right. She's still in contact with her all the time. So we encourage her to go out and spend time with her kids. And
it's fun.
Trying to encourage her mom to go out too. It's like, everything's fine here, guys. Go ahead.
Go get my mom to do something. But she's always worked.
Yeah,
she's always worked. The concept of retirement, and I don't know if other folks have this problem with their with parents, is that she just doesn't understand that word. Go out and do things. She always worked. So, she's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? And I'm like, I don't know. And it occurs to me, I'm pretty sure I'll be the same way.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I like going to work.
I think Marlene probably does too. And she's got to be handy because she knows the place in and out. So, I'm sure.
It is fun. Like I said, I don't go to the Thursday meetings because there's sometimes I just don't want to. I don't want to know what my mom's asking questions about. She's still my mother.
She's so fun. And it's a good thing Clean's not in that room because we do have to ask her and talk to her about some really off-the-wall stuff. Our Thursday meeting kind of like detours to many different areas, and just seeing Marlene's expression, just like, oh.
But she's cool.
She is cool.
She was a nurse. She gets it. Well, I want to ask you guys, because we really haven't talked about this the last couple of weeks. We've been busy with guests, and we've got another terrific guest coming up next week who will not be yanked at the last minute.
No, there's no way.
But one thing I do want to know is I know that you guys had a lot of work going on in July to prepare for Christmas. Are you guys, is there like a fall line for your stuff that's coming out right now?
What it is that we have noticed over the years that blatant holiday items just aren't the biggest sellers for us. So we've been focusing on, yes, it's pink, but will it sell in August too? who's going through there. So, a few novelty items here or there, but full blown Santa lingerie or something with big pink puffy hearts on it. It just we're absolutely positively. I mean, I'll wear this once around Valentine's Day, but it's going to look weird in May. So the practicality of our customer has really skewed to, will this be sexy all year round?
Right.
And then you can do the foofy themed stuff online, right?
Yeah, and then there's some stuff online there, a few things, but not as much, because lingerie is you really you want to see it when it's going on there. Even the package stuff, if it's in your hand, you can it's going through there. Okay. There are some things like our candles, head candle sets. We'll bring in some Christmas stuff. We Vibe may come out with a special holiday package where they do the thing where they do the product in red. Okay. So we'll get it's a limited edition things around the holidays. But for the most part, there just hasn't been. You just like for a lot of retailers, okay, so I take it, I get this candy cane bustier in, and you're like, well, now that it past Christmas, who the hell wants a candy cane bustier?
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck with that.
Right.
And that's just, sort of I've been noticing that there's just a lot less, stuff. But, we're like, we've got a deal coming up with System Joe. They're going to help us do the booty cruise coming up, so they're sending some stuff, and we'll be able to have
prizes
for sale and stuff like that. So, and we've got a lot of reps coming for training. Everyone wants to come and train everyone now. I think
got great people.
The companies are investing more in their reps, so it's constant training versus versus their big seminars. And like I said, I'm hopefully unless someone flights or something gets screwed up, the gal we have coming in on Tuesday is a rep for a company, but she's also has an amazing blog. She does toys. She used to be an escort. She has she has done a lot of product reviews. And so, there's no way in hell that she's going to be told, no, she can't do it.
Right. No.
And so we're going to have more of a shot of doing that.
Okay.
Because the like I said, we're the next big thing we're getting ready for is Crypticon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we rent a hotel room there, and they decorate a room and they sell some stuff because these are mostly adults and they're out for the weekend, and we have
wearing tights.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of stuff going on, and it's been a lot of fun. Although once again, they will have stars that come there, the folks that, the guest of honor and stuff like that. But we can't get them to take a picture with us either.
God. Well, we, this weekend, or not this weekend, what was I going to say? Well, whatever that weekend is what I'm saying is the liquor store, because the last one, Comic-Con, was at the Minneapolis Convention Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Downtown was insane. And people coming in, we had furries coming in, we had, all these, just hysterical.
Yeah, I'm sure there were plenty of superheroes and Star Wars and Star Trek and anime. Like I said, not my world.
No.
But I know that folks are there. We had a booth for a couple of years, but won't be doing that anymore. We learned, you're there with your kids, and it was interesting, but since it cost like $350 or more just to look at like William Shatner, much less get a signature or take a picture. I mean, that's where your money's going. I mean, you are budgeting so that you can meet the 9th Doctor Who or something. I don't. I get that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And we gave it a shot. I was going through there, but no more.
Well, I'll end on another sex toy down story real quick for you. Sitting on the couch the other night. Just a couple days ago, boyfriend and I'm typing something on my computer. He's watching TV, and here comes the puppy with a jar of lube in her mouth. And I'm like, what does she have? And we're like, oh my God. And she found the bag One more time. So
See, no, this okay. The dog is about 2 foot high. So this stuff, and then you could probably you got to put the stuff up high.
She reaches up. I did have it high. She gets up on her hind legs. She pulls the bag down and goes and finds whatever looks like fun, and then takes off with it. And she isn't. When she's taller than the last time that you saw her, but she's either trying to get us to have sex or she's trying to keep us from having sex. Neither one of us can quite put our finger on it. But there is some funky vibe with the Greta dog and the sex whole thing. So just hide your lube.
Hide your lube.
I'm gonna get one of those things that they put.
Maybe you need a lockbox, like what people put weapons in.
That, or the thing that you put your food in when you're camping to keep the bears. I'll just raise the sex toys.
You have to put a hook up in the ceiling.
Yeah. And we just lower it down.
Little pulley system.
Oh, no.
You guys.
Well, then again, if you did put a hook in the ceiling and a pulley system, you could probably hang other things off that too. So that wouldn't be a bad idea.
See? Well,
there you go.
But watch out for the ceiling fan, right, Michael?
Right. Watch out for that ceiling.
Well, let's end on this note, guys. We'll be back next week with a blockbuster guest. And then, by the way, I have been in communication with Mrs. Sin.
Oh.
And she's due in the early part of September as well. So some new and exciting, and I'm sure it'll be put on your seatbelt kind of podcast and coming up here. Have a great week, you guys.
You too.